All right, well, it's time to get ready for another vacation in Edna. And we've done our pre-check work and we'll be leaving in the morning. So just kind of a quick overview of what we did. So made sure that all the fluids were good. So oil and brake fluid and power steering fluid, coolant, made sure that that was full, topped off the washer fluid, checked the belts, the hoses. I looked at just anything leaking under the coach, just in case something new started leaking. I also checked the tire pressure, made sure that we were at the right PSI all around. We, of course, washed some windows, cleaned it up, organized things. We went and filled it up with gas so that we had a full tank as we were taking off. We plugged in the refrigerator and let it start cooling down. So we plugged it in kind of midday today. It's still cooling down, but not cold enough to put food in yet. But certainly overnight, after the sun's not hitting the side of the coach right where the refrigerator is, I'm sure that refrigerator will cool down and we'll load it up with food in the morning. We've already got all of our food in the refrigerator and cold in the house. So when we bring it and put it in the coach, if the refrigerator's cold, that should keep it nice and cold while we do our first day of driving. So this trip is going to be to the Oregon coast, and we're going to have probably about 1,000 miles round trip, so about 500 miles from where we are to the Oregon coast, and then about 500 miles back. And so not the longest trip we've been on, but the weather's supposed to be fairly hot tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes for the first day. By the time we get to the Oregon coast, it's supposed to be in the more like the 60s, maybe low 70s. So it should be great weather for camping, and it shouldn't have any overheating problems or anything. But tomorrow, while we're driving, we'll be going through some pretty hot areas, probably up into the 90s, maybe low 90s. So we'll see how that goes with my new fan clutch that I installed not too long ago. But really today it's just making sure everything's ready to go, and tomorrow morning we'll head out bright and early. All right, well, we're a couple hours into our drive and we've been cruising along nicely at about 60 miles an hour. We're a little south of the Tri-Cities, getting ready to head into Oregon on our trip to the Oregon coast. Good news on temperature. My fan clutch project that I did a while ago seems to be working, even though it's about 85 degrees outside. It's staying, the engine's staying right on temperature, not overheating at all, even on hills. So pretty excited about that. But so far, yeah, the drive's been very uneventful. Edna's doing well, just cruising along, getting into some nice views of the Columbia River and windmills. It's probably pretty small on the camera, but way off in the distance there we can see Mount Hood, all snow-capped. So we're still in a very deserty part of Oregon, but starting to get a little nicer, some cool scenery as we head down the freeway here. All right, well, we've made it through Portland and we are on our way to Seaside, which is in the kind of northern part of the Oregon coast. And there's some not really big mountains, but kind of medium-sized mountains between Portland and the coast. And so we've been going up and down some of those. Edna has been doing just fine, but the scenery has definitely changed a lot between going along the Columbia and it being very dry and kind of deserty to now being in really lush green forest. So really it kind of even smells nice and foresty out here. So we'll be to Seaside in just a few miles, and then we're going to head south and go toward Tillamook and stop at the Tillamook cheese factory there. But I thought we'd just get a little bit of a shot here of these nice hills, mountains, and the forest that we're driving through. Just kind of a cool look to the Oregon coast here with all these trees. All right, we made it to our campground at the Sea and Sand RV Resort, and it's a little bit south of Lincoln City, which is apparently Lincoln Beach, pretty close to Depot Bay. So I think this is considered kind of the central Oregon coast, and this has been our base of operations. We've been here for a few days now. Really nice RV resort. So bathrooms, showers, laundry, things like that are very high end, very nice. So we brought an extra vehicle on this trip, and so we set up Edna, and she's been here hanging out in the camp. Because of very wet weather here, we've been able to have a fire each night. We've got our canopy. This is a pretty big Costco canopy, which doesn't really fit very well. The campsites are pretty close together, but the environment is very nice. We're right on the beach, just probably 100 yards down the little trail or over a little hill, and we're right on the beach. We can hear the water. There's lots of birds and animals around, and so it's been a really nice location. And we've been able to go up the coast. We went up to Lincoln City. We went to Tillamook, we went to Seaside, and what else was up there? Cannon Beach. So kind of saw all of the main things, I think, up to the north side of the Oregon coast. We didn't go as far as Astoria. That's probably the last spot to go, but it is a couple of hour drive from where we are up to the Cannon Beach and Seaside area. So that was kind of a long day to go and check that out. And there's lots to see up there. So we found that like this was a pretty good central location. Overall, really nice from a kind of base of operations standpoint. And then we also went down the coast a little ways, down to Newport. Most of these towns, so Seaside and Cannon Beach and Newport, a little bit in Lincoln City, but they had nice little shopping areas. Depot Bay had great saltwater taffy and things to see, whale watching. So pretty much have been able to do all of the fun things here along the Oregon coast. And I'll put in some videos and clips of some of what we did, some hiking trails, some places we went. I'll include links on all of those locations. But Edna got us here very well, and it looks like she'll probably get us home. On the way home, we're going to go a little bit more kind of into Central Oregon a bit, well, just up to the freeway and go through Portland, but we're going to stop at a museum along the way, so I'll get some photos of that I'll include also. So I talked a little bit about our trip and some of the things we did, and now we'll go through some photos and I'll describe a little bit of what we saw. So the campground was awesome. It was right on the beach. There was a trail that went right down to the beach, and so every day we were checking out sunsets and enjoying time on the beach. A little ways down the road, there's the Devil's Cauldron, which is a very cool place to check out some tide pools and just see kind of low tide, interesting sea animals and things like that. Along the coast, there are lots of places to pull out. There was one place where we actually saw some whales, and I don't know what time of the year they're migrating, but apparently they just migrate right along the Oregon coast, which is pretty awesome. We also went to the Drift Creek Falls trailhead, and this is about a 3-mile hike altogether. And when you get in, there's a very cool suspension bridge and waterfall. So pretty easy hike. The road to get to it was quite exciting. This is a nice picture along the coast. Lots of cool beaches and neat rocky coasts. Here we're seeing Haystack Rock on Cannon Beach. So driving up and down the Oregon coast, lots of places to pull over and check out the beaches. Also, you go a little further down, there's Newport. And of course, if you're on the Oregon coast, you may as well get some raw oysters and some fried seafood and things like that. So definitely enjoyed the nice seafood while we were there. On the way back, we stopped at the Evergreen Flight Museum and saw a lot of really cool different airplanes. The Spruce Goose is there, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, overall, great trip with Edna and lots of fun for the family camping.